Hello guys, welcome to my channel Knowledge Transfer. In today's topic, I will be covering what is withholding tax. So, whenever we get an invoice from the supplier, and if a supplier is a registered entity, so we can pay tax to the supplier, and supplier will pay the tax amount to the government. But let's say you have taken a service from the supplier, and the supplier is not a registered entity. So what we can do is, uh, let's say supplier had given us the invoices, and we will be holding the tax amount from that particular invoices and pay rest of the amount to the supplier, and the amount which we had holded for a tax that we will be paying directly to the government. Mm, Let me give you a small example, real life example for more clear picture. So whenever an employee is working for any of the organization, so what organization needs to do is like they will be paying the salary to the employee, but they will be deducting the tax. They are not going to pay the salary and as well as the tax amount also. Why? Is just because employee is not a registered entity, and employee will not take a responsibility to pay the tax to the government. So what organization used to do is, first, they will be deducting the tax from the employee. They will hold that particular amount and pay that particular tax amount directly to the government. And the same we have for withholding tax. If supplier is not a registered entity, we can hold the tax amount from the particular invoices and pay directly to the government. So this is why withholding tax invoices use. And in Oracle, we have a configuration that we can perform to achieve this withholding tax. Uh, okay, let me write here withholding tax. So let's quickly see the process which we will be following for more clarity. Uh, let's say supplier had invoices us, given an invoice of amount, let's say 10,000. But along with this particular invoice amount, we do have a 10% of tax. So minus 10%, it will come around 1,000. So the payment which we are going to make to the supplier, that will be 9,000, and the rest 1,000 we will be paying to the directly to the government. So how it looks like, uh, withholding tax we will be paying directly to the government as 1,000. So this is the process which we are going to follow to understand how the withholding tax configuration can help us to pay directly to the government the holded amount. So what are the withholding tax setups? The very first thing is we will be creating a tax authority as a supplier. So we do have a normal supplier that we are from which we are going to take a services and make a payment along to make a payment to that particular supplier. But out here we will be creating a tax authority supplier. It's the same way how we are going to create a supplier. That's we are going to change only one attribute. We'll see that. Create tax authority as a supplier. Supplier. And the next we will be setting up as withholding tax option. Next, create a withholding tax code. In code, we'll be giving it as a like let's say how much percent we are going to charge. So in our case, there is 10%. So we'll be giving it a 10% and we'll be giving a rate of interest. So whatever the rate of interest we are going to charge. Next, we have create withholding tax group. You can give it as classification also. Vacation. So classification. Yes. And the very last thing is, once we are done with all the setups, like all the withholding tax setups, we are going to assign to the particular supplier, like those supplier which not a registered entity, which is not a registered entity. Let's say you have 10 supplier. Out of 10 supplier, 5 supplier are a registered entity for which you are not going to hold the tax amount. So rest of the 5 supplier will be assigning that withholding tax, but for another 5 we are not going to assign it. Assign withholding tax group of supplier, you can say, to supplier. Correct. Yes. It's okay. Okay. Let's quickly jump into the system and do all the setups. So see, now whenever we are going to create a withholding tax authority as a supplier, we will following the same step, whatever the steps we used to follow to a tax, create a normal supplier and see where we are going to make a changes. What makes a differentiate between the normal supplier and a tax authority supplier. So I had already created a supplier that I am not going to create it, the normal supplier, but I will be creating now the withholding tax supplier. Go to payables, oh sorry, procurement, supplier, task list, create supplier. Let's say give the name as RR withholding tax supplier. Business relationship is the same. We can give a span authorize, corporation, same, create. So here we have supplier type. Here we need to give it as a tax authority. This is how we differentiate the normal supplier and a tax authority supplier. Rest all the things are same. We need to go to the address, create an address, setting the postal code, and order to remit. Here we don't have to give anything. Now save and close. Then create the site, click on save, invoice amount USD and payment amount. Payment I will be giving it as a check, make it as a default. Give the site assignment for which business unit, it's Bell US business unit. Done. We are done with the creation of the withholding tax authority as a supplier. So now we need to go to the withholding tax option. For that, go to the setup and maintenance, search the task call as manage tax reporting, manage tax reporting. And here we can see is manage tax reporting and withholding tax option. This is the one which we are going to follow right now. Click it here. Once we have came to this picture, we can see Here we have invoice tax as reporting, and here we can say is standard invoices. Means like we are going to calculate the withholding tax on standard invoices. First of all, calculation point is withholding tax. I will be disabling it. I will be creating a new one. Okay, okay. Do you want to continue? No, let's not. Let's disable and create a new for more clarity because it's the field is freeze right now. Hmm. We'll be creating. So here we have two options: prepayment invoices and standard invoices. So we are going to um, do it into the standard invoices. So standard invoices first of all. And when is the calculation point? When you want to calculate those in withholding tax. So we are going to calculate at invoice level. So click on invoice. We can do it as a payment level also, but we will be taking it as invoice. Next we have. Yes, yes, yes. The rest of the things are not mandatory. Yes, we have enable, give the start date. Start date is important. So today is 25th. I will be giving it as 24 one day before, and then save and close. I had disabled it is just because like both will be as a standard invoices. So it may conflict. That's the reason I had disabled one and I had any and just to show you like what are the LOV we have over here. That's the reason I had created a new one and enable it. So we are done with the creation of the withholding tax option. Once we are done, click on save and close. Next, we have withholding tax code. For that, we need to search for the task call as with manage tax code. Yes, this is the one. Here we need to create as we are going to create it for which business unit. So we have Bell business unit. Country you can give it as US United States. US. Yeah, this is the one. Tax regime code we have from before as well, but I want to create a new one, so I'll be creating it. Create. Let's give RR withholding tax as 10%. We can give the name also if needed. Let's give the same name. Give the start date as yesterday and save and close. The text also we need to create it. Give RR withholding tax. Start date again we need to give it as before one and select the liability tax liability account from which tax liability account it's gonna pick. See, mostly for normal liability, it is going to pick it from the common option. For tax liability, for withholding tax liability, it will be picking it from this area. So, tax liability, give it the company. So if you are testing anything, you can give a create an account in value set values as account any of the value just to make it clear like okay this is the withholding tax one, this is the one. For me I as I did my rapid implementation, it's already a part of the value set values. Intercompany, let's take this 0 default value 0. Click OK. Mm, 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 mm. Done. Give the tax authority. So now here we need to give that particular supplier for which we have given as a tax authority. So let's say in our total practice instance, we do have a three one. One is ACT withholding tax supplier. And that is also a tax authority. That's the reason it is popping up over here because normal supplier will not be popping up over here. So as I have multiple supplier which are like not a tax authority, it's a normal supplier that we cannot see over here. So this is the withholding tax supplier, means yes, tax authority supplier that we have created right now. So that only we are going to pick it over here. So RR withholding tax, and the site will it will be fetching out from the supplier site level, correct? Once we are done, no, we are done with everything. Click on save and close. Mm. So after saving this, we need to give a tax percentage, like what will be the rate of percentage that we need to charge on that particular invoices. So as a part of our testing, we have taken it as a 10%. That's the reason it is 1000. What we will do is we will be giving it as a 10, and don't give it percentage over here. Just give 10, already mentioned as a percentage. That's enough. You can give the start date. I'll be giving it as a 24, one day before, and nothing much required. None of the things are mandatory. Feel it is about a part of a bell ledger. That is enough. If you want, you can give the description. If you don't want, you can ignore it. Give the tax code, withholding tax, RR, withholding tax, 10%. Enough. Click on save and close. So we are done with the creation of withholding tax also. Let's commit over here. We did this. We have created a withholding tax authority as a supplier. Tax authority options also completed. Withholding tax also code also completed. Now we have create withholding tax as classification. See, why we are doing this as withholding tax group is just because we are grouping withholding tax plus withholding tax code, and whatever the supplier we do have, we are grouping it and bringing it into one area as withholding tax group, so that we can assign that group to particular supplier. Enough. See, normally if you are going to assign to the supplier, currently we have one supplier, so it's okay, we will be assigning all three one by one. But let's say you have thousand of supplier, so you cannot go one by one and assign three of them each and every time. So what we can do is we will be creating a withholding tax group and assign it to the supplier. So for that, go to the instance again, click on done, search with the task call as manage withholding tax classification. Here we have to group all the tax which we have created. So we have created only one. What we will do is we will be creating like this, create, give the tax classification whatever you want to give. I'll give as RR withholding tax group. Description you can copy the same. Start date you can give the same, yesterday date, and here we need to give the tax rate and for which business unit. So it's our Bell US business unit, and tax rate code which we have created. We have created as RR withholding tax. Done. And once we are done, we can save and close. Here we are just giving the business unit and tax rate code. Done. Save and close. Supplier we had already assigned to the tax rate code for which supplier. So it's like interconnecting each and every setups. Done. Once we are done, assign this withholding tax group to particular supplier. So we want to calculate it for only one of the supplier for testing purpose. What we'll do is go to the supplier, manage supplier. This is my normal supplier. Add it. So let me write one more thing. We are going to assign it as in profile as well as on site. profile and site. So firstly, we need to enable this checkbox. Under profile, go to the tab called as income tax, and under that we have use withholding tax. Enable this. So here the field is unfreeze and give it as RR withholding tax. Why we are giving it over here? So that we are able to give it in site level also. Click on save and close. Sorry, edit. Go to the site level now. Edit the site. Go to the site assignment. In here we can see withholding tax group. Enable this and give the withholding tax. This is RR withholding tax. So normally whenever you are going to create an invoice, it will be picking it up from the site level, but we are giving it into the profile level also. It's just because so that we can enable it for the site level. Let me show why it is impacting. Let me erase all this. Okay, sorry. Just to clear it out, I will be disabling it. Okay, save and close. Now what I will do is I will be going to the address. Okay, go to edit. I need to go to the profile, go to the income tax. Let's remove this just to make you understand. Now save and close. Now let's go and give it. We will not give it into the profile level now. We will just try to give it into the site level. Go to the site, edit, site assignment. See, you are unable to enable it. Why we are unable to enable is just because we haven't given withholding tax at profile level. This is why we need to give it into the profile level so that we can give it into the site level, and normally invoice will pick it up from site level only. It will not look for profile level. So let's go back to the profile again. Income tax, we will enable this, give it over here as RR withholding tax group. Save and close. Now go to the site. Site assignment. Now we can see we are able to see the checkbox which we want to enable. Enable it. Give it over here as RR withholding tax. Save and close. Done. So we are done with the configuration of withholding tax. Now as per the process, what we will do is we will be creating an invoices with a sum of amount 10,000. Okay, let's create a amount invoice. We have Belvia's business unit. Give the supplier as Bell. Here we have RR withholding tax. Amount is 10,000. What's 10,000? 10,000. Let's give the distribution combination. Now, the moment we are going to submit the invoice for validation, system will calculate the withholding tax automatically. Click on invoice, validate. Let's see. Our setups are right, then it will be calculating the withholding tax automatically. It is taking time just because it's first time it will be calculating for this particular withholding tax authority. Let's see. So here we can see the withholding tax has been calculated automatically, and what we are doing is we are going to make a payment to this particular supplier, bell supplier, as 9,000. Okay, now save and close. Now we will see the instance which has created the invoices for a withholding tax. So it has been created automatically, right? So let's see in the manage invoices and search with a particular supplier as withholding tax supplier, authority supplier. What was our supplier? It was around RR withholding tax supplier. Click on OK. Let's see the invoices. So here we can see the system has created the withholding tax invoices automatically, and we can make a payment to the particular tax authority supplier, means government. So what we can do is we can open the invoices, and the same way we can validate those invoices, and we can make the payment. And whenever we are going to make a payment to that particular supplier, bell supplier, we will be making a payment of only 9,000, not 10,000. 1,000 we are keeping it as a whole, and we are paying it to the government. Here we are the supplier or party. We are creating a tax authority as a supplier, means government as a supplier, or we can say as a party. So this is how we configured withholding tax invoices, and this is how the process we are going to check whether it is working as properly or not. So I hope you had liked this video. It is one of the interesting topic as withholding tax, and I will try to come up with some of the interesting topic some more, and after that we can wrap up. For accounts payable, we'll be focusing on accounts receivables. And if anyone haven't seen my accounts receivables like basic setups video, please go through my previous video at accounts receivables. Why? Just because whenever I will be going to start a processes like what are the process we have in accounts receivables, means AR, I will not be covering the setups part, basic setups part. I had already completed that video in my past video, and it's already there in YouTube. So thanks everyone. I hope you had liked this video, and in case of any kind of confusion, feel free to reach out. Thank you.